Be honest, are you underpaid in accessibility? Even though you're doing everything right. You fix the same accessibility issues sprint after sprint. Your audits are clean, your bugs are detailed, but your salary is stuck and your job title is not going anywhere. And above all, no one is telling how to get to the next level. If that sounds like you, here's the hard truth most people never hear. If your growth in accessibility is only about getting better at testing, you will eventually hit a ceiling. Now, I'm not saying excelling at testing is not important. It is. But you don't become a senior accessibility leader by finding more bugs. You grow by changing the systems that create those bugs in the first place. And that difference between fixing issues and preventing them happen at scale is what separates a junior accessibility tester and a senior accessibility leader. This video is not about testing. It's about learning how to think like an accessibility leader so you can move up and get paid more in 2026. Hi, I'm Param. I have invested over 15 years in accessibility, and I have seen firsthand why so many talented testers stay underpaid and stuck at the same level. Most people enter accessibility with a clear mission: find issues, log bugs, map them to VCAG, and repeat sprint after sprint. And that mindset works early in your career. But here's where people get stuck. If accessibility only appears after the product is built, you're not practicing accessibility leadership, you're doing cleanup. Senior accessibility leaders don't ask, does this page pass VCAG? They ask, what decisions earlier allowed this failure to exist at all? And here's the example. A junior tester files a bug for a missing form label. A senior leader asks why labels were not required when building the component library. Same issue, very different level of impact. And this is the upgrade from executing tasks to owning outcomes. Let's talk about something most testers avoid: policies. The word alone feels boring, corporate, or political. But here's what most people don't realize. Every accessibility fight you keep having is happening because nothing was decided earlier. I have seen teams argue for months over the same accessibility issues, not because they disagreed, but because nothing was written down. The moment a clear accessibility policy existed, the arguments stopped because policies are leverage. A strong accessibility policy removes endless debates, defines ownership, and protects users before harm occurs. It answers which standards do we follow, what's in scope, and who is accountable. Remember this: when accessibility is written down, it stops being optional, and that's leadership, even if your title does not reflect it. Here's the hard truth that separates senior accessibility leaders from everyone else. If accessibility lives only in QA, it will always fail. It will be late and it will be expensive. Senior accessibility leaders shift accessibility left. They bake it into the SDLC. During planning, accessibility is scoped before timelines are logged. Budget is allocated for accessibility work. Roles and ownership are defined. During design, accessibility design reviews are done before finalizing designs. Design handoffs are completed with the dev teams. When developing, applications are built using inclusive designs, semantic HTML, and ARIA attributes. Unit testing is performed with automated plugins, keyboard, and screen readers before any code is pushed. During QA, AI is used to build test scripts for all possible scenarios. Litmus tests are performed, followed by in-depth manual testing focused on real user journeys. And after a release, monitoring, regression testing, and continuous improvements are performed. If accessibility shows up late, it becomes a fight. If it shows up early, it becomes normal. At some point, every senior professional realizes this. You cannot personally enforce accessibility across an entire organization. So leaders stop relying on memory and good intentions. They build guardrails. Guardrails are decisions baked into systems, so accessibility happens by default and not by accident. Common examples include building accessible design systems of pre-approved components, standardizing tools, VCAG versions, and assistive technology to avoid confusion. Monthly, quarterly, or yearly accessibility score checks to ensure you are on the right track. Because training fades, documentation gets ignored, but guardrails persist. The best accessibility solution is the one that nobody can accidentally bypass. If you believe accessibility is more than compliance and you want to help build a truly inclusive digital world, becoming a member supports this mission and helps me keep teaching how real change actually happens in accessibility. Here's another place where careers quietly diverge. Junior testers bring auditors right before a launch, or when legal is nervous, or after users complain. Senior leaders use audits strategically. They partner with external auditors to validate internal work, reveal blind spots, measure maturity over time, and strengthen credibility with leadership. But they never outsource ownership. Because here's the danger most teams miss. The most risky teams are not careless. They are overconfident because an audit once said, pass. Auditors validate accessibility. They do not create a culture of it. This is where accessibility leadership becomes obvious. A junior tester asks, does this meet the VCAG standard? But a senior accessibility leader asks, can a real person finish this task without friction? Because you can pass VCAG and still fail a real user. Think about a checkout that forces a screen reader user to hear 5 minutes of repeated content. A form that technically works but punishes mistakes. A helpful interface that overwhelms cognition. Accessibility failures not only happen at the checklist level, they happen at the experience level. And that's where leaders focus. They establish a process to perform usability studies with real people with disabilities, to find what works for real users and not just trained testers. Here's something uncomfortable but important. The moment you stop learning about accessibility is the moment you start shipping barriers again without you realizing it. Senior accessibility leaders never feel done. They don't chase learning just for certificates. They stay curious about emerging research, about real user pains, about where AI helps and where it lies, about where standards lag behind reality. They attend conferences, they listen to disabled users, because accessibility is not static. And careers stall quietly, not loudly. So here's the real question. Do you want to keep fixing the same issues sprint after sprint and keep joining conversations after decisions are made? Or do you want to influence design and engineering early? Build systems that scale accessibility and be the person teams rely on. Junior accessibility professionals find and fix issues. Senior accessibility leaders design systems where exclusion struggles to exist. And once you start thinking that way, your role, your influence, and your salary completely changes. If you are serious about growing from accessibility tester to accessibility leader, subscribe and share this with someone who is ready to level up. Because this isn't about passing audits. It's about building inclusive systems that don't depend on luck.